Hello, and welcome to the 2015-16 NFHS Soccer Rules Changes and Instructional Presentation. This year, NISOA is launching a new initiative to work closer with the NFHS and the state associations. NISOA is committed to work directly with the state associations so that the overall quality of interscholastic soccer officiating is improved. NISOA offers a variety of training materials for state associations. One program NISOA is most interested in moving to the forefront is the Train the Trainer program. This is a one-day session that provides local rules interpreters with skills on how to make presentations for adult learning. This will assist the local interpreters in conducting rules meetings, clinics, and more. NISOA has a variety of lesson materials that can be used at local interscholastic clinics that focus on high school soccer rules, mechanics, and game management. State associations can request this lesson material at any time. To help move this initiative forward, NISOA is pleased to announce the selection of Dr. Ross Malone as the new interscholastic director. Ross has a long history of working with high school soccer in Kentucky. As an NISOA national clinician, Ross has worked at the 4-day residential training academy that NISOA holds each summer at Elizabethtown College. Ross's experience and enthusiasm should be a great benefit to the relationship between NISOA and NFHS. Now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Mark Koski, NFHS Director of Sports, Events, and Development.
Thanks, John, and thanks to the NISOA for working tirelessly with the NFHS on the production of this annual video presentation. As John stated, the NFHS and the NISOA have a long-standing relationship that continues to grow. Also, I especially look forward to working with Ross. Each year, the NFHS sends out a rules survey to coaches, state association administrators, and referees. This survey focuses on last year's rules changes, points of emphasis, and the items that have been brought to the Rules Committee attention. The NISOA posts a survey link on the NISOA.com website so the 5,500 NISOA members have an opportunity to respond. The responses are summarized and presented to the Rules Committee during their January meeting. The Rules Committee reviews each proposed change and makes recommendations for changes to the NFHS Rules Review Committee and its Board of Directors. This is how a new rule is implemented. The Rules Committee composition is diverse and represents all sections of the country. This ensures that all proposed changes are reviewed from several different vantage points and the best possible recommendation is made. The 2015-16 NFHS Soccer Rules Committee is our chairman, Bill Johnson from Marshfield, Massachusetts. Our Section 1 representative is Steve Beals from Hudson, New Hampshire. Stan Latta from State College, Pennsylvania is from Section 2 and a new member of the committee this year. Dr. Joe Mangione from Silver Hill, Alabama is our Section 3 representative. Todd Tharp from Boone, Iowa is another new member of the committee and represents Section 4. Doug Epps represents Section 5 and is from La Vista, Nebraska. Our Section 6 representative is Mike Clark from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Our Section 7 rep is Malcolm Brazelton from Chino, California. G. Scott Lockwood from Helena, Montana is our Section 8 representative. Our NFHS officials representative is Steve Harvey from Cave Springs, Arkansas. And our NFHS coaches representative, Monty Hawkins, joins the committee this year and is from West Lynn, Oregon. In addition to the basic rules of soccer, the NFHS Rules Book focuses on player participation and safety. NFHS encourages as many athletes as possible to have the opportunity to play, thus gaining valuable life lessons from participating in interscholastic soccer. One example is the substitution rule, which has been modified this year. It provides new opportunities for coaches to give players a greater opportunity to enter the game. The second emphasis, and equally as important, is safety. NFHS does everything possible to promote a safe environment for all players. Online training programs such as concussion training provide coaches and referees with important information. They should use this information to make sure players do not participate when injured. NFHS emphasizes that player safety is far more important than wins or losses. No player should be in the game when injured. The 2013-14 NFHS High School Athletics Participation Survey indicated that soccer is the fifth most popular sport for boys at the high school level, with 417,419 participants, and the fourth most popular sport for girls, with 374,564 participants. This means that just short of 800,000 student athletes are enjoying the game. It is imperative that every coach, administrator, and official make the game a positive experience for these athletes. Now I would like to introduce Bill Johnson, NFHS Rules Committee Chairman, who will review this year's rules changes and points of emphasis.
Thanks, Mark. This year, after careful deliberation, the Rules Committee made only 2 modifications to the rules. The first, as Mark mentioned, deals with Rule 3 substitution. Article 3 has been revised to add Section E, which indicates that either team may substitute an unlimited number of players, provided they have checked in per 341D, when any bench personnel is cautioned or disqualified. Previously, there was no provision for the substitutes to enter the field of play during this type of stoppage. Since the clock is stopped, this is now consistent with substitution procedures, game management principles, and commitment to student participation. The second change is to Rule 411H3 and deals with the goalkeeper uniform. The first change is merely a word adjustment to make the rule clearer. The word either has been replaced with opposing, so that the first sentence now reads, "The jersey of the goalkeeper shall be distinctly different from that of any teammate or opponent, except the opposing goalkeeper." An additional sentence has been incorporated into the rule that reads, "The socks of the goalkeeper are not required to be the same color as his or her teammates, but shall differ in color from their opponents." Currently, the jersey of the goalkeeper must be distinctly different in color from his or her teammates and opposing field players. To differentiate opponents, it is important that the goalkeeper's socks be included in this rule. In addition to the rules changes, the Soccer Rules Committee developed 5 points of emphasis for the 2015-2016 season. The first 2 deal directly with safety-related matters. The first is heat acclimatization and safety priorities. Coaches and officials must recognize that exertional heat stroke, or EHS, is the leading preventable cause of death among high school athletes. Coaches must know the importance of a formal preseason heat acclimatization plan, of having and implementing a specific hydration plan, keeping your athletes well hydrated and encouraging and providing ample opportunities for regular fluid replacement, of appropriately modifying activities in relation to the environmental heat stress and contributing individual risk factors such as illness, obesity, to keep athletes safe and performing well. For all members of the coaching staff to closely monitor all athletes during practice and training in the heat. Also, they need to recognize the signs and symptoms of developing heat illnesses. Coaches must also know the importance of and resources for establishing an emergency action plan and promptly implementing it in the case of suspected EHS or other medical emergencies.
The head referee or center referee has the authority to suspend play whenever the element dictates. If a game is being played in extreme heat, the game can be suspended for a water break. This is a safety-related matter, and again, referees should err on the side of caution.
The second point of emphasis deals with fighting/reckless play. Players, coaches, game officials, and spectators must work together to model and demonstrate sportsmanship and fair play. The goal is to minimize risk and to maximize participation. Fighting and playing in a reckless manner has no place in interscholastic soccer.
Players must be given the opportunity to exhibit their skills. Officials have the responsibility of game management. It is imperative that officials do not condone reckless play. Fouls that are committed within the intent to injure an opponent must be dealt with quickly and seriously. If officials allow any type of reckless play, the chances of escalation and fighting will greatly increase. If a player acts in this manner, they must be cautioned or ejected. Again, player safety is the #1 priority.
Tape or similar materials on socks is being emphasized this year. If tape or a similar material, such as stays or straps, is applied externally to the socks, it must be of similar color as that part of the sock to which it is applied. In other words, the home team may use white tape or material and the away team a color similar to the color of the socks.
A note to officials here. Remember, the head coach must advise the referee in advance that all players are properly equipped. This includes the tape on the socks. Preventative officiating methods should be used. If an official observes a problem with tape prior to the game, have it corrected before the game starts. This will eliminate the potential of issuing a caution for illegally equipped players.
Communication is a point of emphasis for officials. Game officials are encouraged to effectively communicate with one another, as well as with players and coaches throughout the game.
Officials must communicate in a professional manner. Emotions cannot be brought into play when talking to players, coaches, or administrators. The most successful interscholastic officials are the ones who communicate effectively with players and coaches during the game and use this tool as part of overall game management.
The last point of emphasis deals with the goal kick. Players opposing the kicker shall remain outside the penalty area until the ball has cleared the penalty area.
Thanks, Bill and Mark. The NFHS Soccer Rules Committee works throughout the year to make sure the rules are appropriate for the high school game. Also, when there are questions about a ruling, both Mark and Bill do an outstanding job in providing the proper interpretation in a very timely manner. As Bill stated, one of the points of emphasis is communication. The officials' communication should begin before the referee team enters the field. A pregame by the officials will help them work together as a team during the match. Also, an initial meeting with the coaching staff from both teams prior to the game beginning should be kept short and the conversation minimal. The coaches are busy preparing their teams and do not have time to chit-chat with officials and share war stories or make comments about the opponents. Another critical use of communication during the pregame is with the timekeeper.
You're the timekeeper today. When I go like this, make sure to stop the clock, okay?
The center or head referee must go over the duties and responsibilities with the timekeeper. This includes when to start the clock and when the clock is stopped, including after a goal is scored, when there is a caution or ejection, when a penalty kick is awarded, or any other time the referee signals a stoppage by crossing the hands overhead. If a referee fails to signal to stop the clock for a caution or ejection, the timekeeper should still do so. The next instruction is that the clock is restarted when the ball is properly put into play, not when the whistle sounds. Lastly, the timekeeper should be reminded that he/she must count down the last 10 seconds of each period to the nearest official or through a public address system. Once the timekeeper counts down to 0, the horn or other signal to end the game must be sounded. This is very important. If there is a shot on goal, the goal may be allowed or not allowed, depending on when time expires. Scorekeepers and the timekeeper should be reminded about how substitutes enter the game and, if necessary, when substitutes are permitted. This will prevent the horn sounding at an improper time and a team being denied the opportunity to put the ball back into play quickly. Communication during the game with players, coaches, and fellow officials greatly assists in game management. Many officials use the phrase that a quiet word to a player that is exhibiting improper behavior during the game goes a long way to prevent future problems. Every official has their own personality and has various methods of communication skills to assist with game management. It is important that no matter what method is used, it should be professional and in an appropriate manner. Proper and timely communication with coaches can also assist with game management. A quick word to a coach to resolve a potential conflict can prevent that coach from becoming a distractor to the game. This type of communication should not become a long debate. Debates and arguments never result in positive outcomes. Communication among officials is also critical. This could be eye contact, hand signals, or verbal exchanges. Teamwork is critical to success and the outcome of the game. Lastly, post-game communication by the officials should be limited to verifying and signing the scorebook, thanking the timekeeper and the scorekeeper for their assistance, and leaving the field as a team. Officials should not remain at the game site any longer than necessary. Also, this is when the lack of communication is the best policy. If spectators, news reporters, or others begin questioning the officiating team, each member should remain silent and depart professionally. Responses during this time will only result in misquotes and future problems for the officials. This concludes the 2015-16 NFHS Soccer Rules presentation. Thanks to Mark Koski and Bill Johnson for their hard work throughout the year and their commitment to high school soccer. Have a great year.
Beginning this year, the NFHS will be posting education video clips on the NFHS Officiating Central Hub, nfhs.arbitersports.com. NFHS Officials Association members are able to view these clips as part of their membership. Access to NFHS Centralized Officiating Educational Content, NFHS Central Hub, is exclusively for high school officials and coaches. Features include searchable NFHS Rules Case Database, other NFHS publications, PDFs or 3D manuals, video and animation of NFHS rules and mechanics, Officials Forum, secured discussion area for officials regarding rules, mechanics, and other officiating topics, feature articles on officiating, archived past issues of Officials Quarterly, and integrated feature and sport-specific articles on the NFHS Central Hub. General NFHS Rules and Mechanics educational content. Members also have $1 million in insurance coverage that includes coverage for all levels of officiating, youth, recreational, adult, and collegiate, in sports recognized by the State High School Association. Excess general liability, excess accident, medical, and dental, accidental death and dismemberment. If you're not a member of the NFHS Officials Association, it's easy to join at nfhs.org.